What's happening, you guys? Welcome to another edition of Gate 7 International. I'm your host for tonight, Kostas Llanos, or Kostas with a K if that turns you on. And tonight I am joined by none other than La Liga expert and Marca journalist, along with many other publications, Panos Kostopoulos. Pano, thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you very much for hyping me up. You hyped me up a lot. Thank you for the invitation. It was not the first one. I guess it's not going to be the last one, but now we finally had time to talk about La Liga and La Liga coaches at Olympiacos, La Liga players at Olympiacos. It's not the first time, it's not going to be the last time that they're coming.
Well, it's definitely not the first time I'm inviting you to the show, and I'm certain it's not going to be the last one. Thank you for finally joining us. It's a huge it's a huge case here. It's a huge occasion. Jose Luis Mendilibar. See, I'm going to get used to it. Jose Luis Mendilibar at Olympiacos.
Well, step by step. It's a big one. It's a surprise one. I was very surprised. I was very surprised because, like, I guess that everyone has checked his Wikipedia page, everyone has checked his bio, everyone now knows more or less who he is. But for people in Spain, and for me that I'm living in Spain, I've been living in Spain for many years, I would never expect Mendilibar to move abroad. I would never expect him to coach abroad. To be honest, like, if you check the teams that he has coached, he has only coached outside the Basque country twice. Like, he coached Valladolid, and then he coached Sevilla last year. We are talking about like 3 years, 2 years at Valladolid, 3, and another like 6, 8 months at Sevilla. So yes, it's very surprising. Not only to me, like people that I speak here in Spain, they are like, okay, we didn't expect that.
Well, I mean, we got loads to unpack here, Pano. But before we get to it, a bit of housekeeping, guys. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm. The Olympiacos community, the international Olympiacos community, continues to grow. 3.7 thousand subscribers already. We're looking to make it 4,000 as soon as possible. Plus, the more support we get, guys, the more awesome interviews we're going to be bringing you, such as Panos right here. And if you haven't done so already, please do support us on Patreon. You're going to find us on patreon.com/Gate7International. That is patreon.com/Gate7International. You're going to get some awesome perks such as unseen footage from our recent interviews, some amazing deep dives from Aris Bouloubasis, who just did a deep dive on Jose Luis Mendilibar himself, and also more exclusive content. And you're joining our amazing WhatsApp group, which has a life of its own, and it's just a crazy, crazy situation. Now that we got all that out of the way, guys, let's chat Mendilibar. Pano, I don't know if you've read. I had an exclusive story regarding Mendilibar for The Sun, where I work in the UK. What I understand is that, and it's official, the speculation is over. Jose Luis Mendilibar is signing a contract until the end of the season with Olympiacos, with the option to extend for another year. And I understand that he has agreed on a net salary of 1.5 million euros. That's about 1.3 million pounds with Olympiacos. But if he doesn't renew for another year, he's not getting paid 1.5. That's 1.5 per year. So he's going to get that money if he joins Olympiacos and he finishes the next year, the 2024-2025 season. So what do you make of that, Pana? I would like to start with that. What do you make about the fact that Olympiacos are signing a manager until the end of the season, pretty much?
Well, I would expect them to do so, to be fair. Like, I guess that everyone saw that Carvalhal's time was over. They wanted to appoint a new coach. There were two options there. One option was to like promote Ipagasa and go with Ipagasa until the end, and saying that we are out of everything, we have no objectives, etc. But the truth is that Olympiacos has an objective, because they're still in the Conference League, and the Conference League final is in Greece. So you cannot say that this is not an objective. So getting Ibagasa promoted would not be the case. Then they needed a coach who could give everything now, who could evaluate the team, I guess, and then uh, even maybe stay after summer. What happens now? I guess that this was the plan they offered to the Dutch coach, how's it called, Klassen or Larsen?
It's Pascal Janssen.
Janssen, I'm sorry. So I guess that's the plan that they offered him, and he turned it down, thinking, I guess that no, I cannot do it mid-season. I would like to have the option to start in the summer, and it's totally understandable. And then, to be fair, if your plan is to get like a coach that can get you to be solid in Europe and maybe chase something there, because we know that like the Greek league is not really an objective anymore, Olympiacos is out of the cup too. Then you need a kamikaze, and that's what Mendilibar is, a kamikaze. That's, I mean, he proved it, and he didn't prove it 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 9 years ago. He proved it last year, but it's a bit different. He proved it with a team like Sevilla that was in huge crisis in the league, and of course they were an underdog. No one would count on them in Europe. Olympiacos is not an underdog. Would never be an underdog in anything. I mean, mentality-wise, okay. He's never coached a team that is not an underdog. So that's the big bet here. Like, I understand a team planning and getting a coach who is maybe young, maybe very ambitious, like Martinez, someone who has a project, and you can see that this project can take them somewhere. But Mendilibar, I think he's like 61. I'm not sure like the exact age. There is no project there. This is like a kamikaze mission. You come here, you try to save the season, and then we'll see. And I don't think that he will stay more than this, because if he does well, he will have offers from Spain for sure. If he doesn't do well, I don't think that Olympiacos will keep him, right?
So you said he's a kamikaze right now, Mendilibar, and it sounds like you still believe Olympiacos have something to fight for. Whereas, well, Olympiacos are out of the cup. They have not won a derby still. They got a big game coming up at Tuba against perhaps the best PAOK we have ever seen. In my opinion, they're better than the undefeated double-winning team under Razvan Lucescu. Europa Conference League, really, this team can push to win the Conference League, especially when you got like an informed team like Aston Villa. I mean, Ferencvaros are no giants, but still, Olympiacos' recent performances have been, I mean, it's fair to say it's below par. So you mentioned that yourself. Olympiacos had other options. In my opinion, Olympiacos should have just finished the season with a caretaker manager. Jose Anigo would have been really good for Olympiacos, considering he is the academy manager, and he could finally bring in some of those kids to help them integrate in the team before the summer preseason. There'd be a lot readier. They would have had a few derbies under their belt. They would have played in Leoforos, in Tuba, in Hagia Sophia, probably gotten the game against Ferencvaros in Europe as well. There'd be a lot more experience, but that's done and dusted. Mendilibar is taking over. He's going to make his debut against Ferencvaros this Thursday. Realistically now, Pano, what can Mendilibar do at Olympiacos? Considering the situation, considering the fact he has a squad that was created by two different managers, what can he do, really?
Not much. Like, okay, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning and let me put in context so we can understand who Mendilibar is, okay? So Mendilibar is a Basque coach. This by itself is a thing here in Spain. So Basque coach,
You
what is
mean
a Basque coach?
old fashioned, old school.
I'll explain everything that has to do with the Basque coaches so like you can understand. I will give you some examples even, like Iraola, who is at Bournemouth, Xabi Alonso, who is trying to win the league in Germany. The Real Sociedad coach, of course, Imanol. Valverde is kind of the same school, but Valverde is from Extremadura. He lived in the Basque country. He's Basque. Okay, of course he's Basque. Like he grew up Basque. What does this mean now? This means that like these people have specific mentality, and people from the Basque country are like big, tough guys who have great stamina, who go on the challenges, and who are gonna run throughout the 90 minutes. This mentality in the Mediterranean country, and especially in a team like Olympiacos, that the fans want to see good football, nice football. They want to see like the favorite player is Kostas Fortounis, like a playmaker who is like a virtuoso, and then he can dribble around, and that's totally different from Mendilibar's mentality. Now, what I said before again, it's his first job outside Spain. This is huge. Being the first job outside Spain, he's never coached outside Spain. He's 60 years old. He has been coaching for 3 decades, and he's never coached outside of Spain. Not only that, like he doesn't speak English. I'm quite sure. I don't know if he learned over the last 3 months, but I doubt it. This doesn't mean you'll tell me this doesn't mean much because half of the Olympiacos team are Portuguese, the other half they are Spanish, and there are 3 Greeks who can understand through translator. But like he has given interviews and he has said that for me, the communication is very important with the players. I want to communicate with the players, and if the players don't understand me, they have to make the effort to understand me. What happens now in Spain when a player comes? There is no like Spain's a country where like people speak Spanish, and then they expect you to speak Spanish too. You know, so if you come to Spain and you come to a team, you are expected to speak Spanish. So his mentality is, you come to my team, you should try to understand Spanish. I'm not trying I'm not gonna speak English so you can understand me. And this is a big thing. Maybe you think that it's not a big thing. Maybe it's in my mind because I know him so well. But I believe that other coaches, at least, I mean, I don't think that Valverde's English is perfect, but I think that Valverde, well, he grew, he improved, and then he learned some stuff, and then he was young, and then he built on this. You know, this guy is 16 years old, and I don't know if he's gonna change this. Like I can give you an example. Like how's it called? Like Sumare, I think he was called Bubakar or Bubakari.
Yeah,
Like the
Boubacar
Leicester,
Soumarea. Yeah.
he was at Leicester. No, he's still like,
Yes.
so he was loaned out to Sevilla this summer. I don't know if he's still there to be honest, but he had like a huge, like, it wasn't an argument, but like a huge dispute with Mendilibar, and Mendilibar wasn't playing him. And then in the press conference they asked him, why don't you play Sumare? And he was like, he doesn't understand me. I'm not gonna play someone who doesn't understand me. He has to make the effort to understand me. And then I thought at that moment that he meant he doesn't speak English. Like he speaks, I don't know where this guy is from. Maybe like French. He speaks French, and that's it. But like after that, I saw an interview of Mendilibar, and he was like saying that, look, when I need to communicate with the players. If I don't communicate with the players, then I cannot do my job. So I find it very difficult from the beginning to see how he can do his job at Olympiacos. Like, I don't know. There are not even many Spanish anymore. There's like Ibora and Kini. and that's
Yep,
it.
they're there. They're
The
there. Yeah.
two
Navarro, Fran Navarro is there as well.
Fran Navarro, who played in Portugal, okay, he's Spanish too. Yeah, these guys know him, and the thing is that in Spain, Mendilibar is loved. Everyone loves Mendilibar. Everyone. Like it doesn't matter who you are, you love Mendilibar because he's a character. He's a cult figure. He's like the guy who's like relentless on the sidelines, shouting, swearing. He's old-fashioned. You know, football fans like old-fashioned. Like whatever is older is better. Modern stuff we don't like. He's anti everything. He's anti technology. He's like anti new tactics. He's like, I want to play a simple game. Theoretically, this is perfect. Practically, I can actually see Olympiacos reporters in like 1 month saying, or after he leaves at some point, maybe saying, well, he did so much physical preparation and he didn't, he wasn't doing so much tactical, as they've said for many Olympiacos coaches who left, blaming them, Uh, so yes, that's my my opinion and how I see his arrival in Greece, and it's like a big surprise.
Well, you did mention that name, and every time Olympiacos get a new manager, people of our generation they like to compare managers to that man, and that's none other than Ernesto Valverde. I mean, you said it yourself; they're both from the Basque country, kind of a similar school of thought as well. So, how do you compare Mendilibar to Valverde?
In terms of tactical approach, you mean, or in terms of football mentality, or
Everything. Let's put
uh,
everything. Let's throw everything in the sack.
let's do everything. Okay, first of all, like like quality wise, we understand we cannot compare these two guys. They are friends, that's true. All the past coaches are friends. Like whichever team has a past coach, like they are all friends. They're very close community. Now, I would say in one sentence, I would say Mendilibar would love to play his team to play the way Bilbao, de Bilbao play right now under Valverde. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. That like last year's Rayo Vallecano under Iraola, and what Iraola is doing now at Bournemouth, more or less, because it's his first year. But then if he stays, you'll see more and nicer things from him. It's what Mendilibar wants to do now. He never had the weapons. To be fair to him, like one of the things he said when he went to Seville was like, "My ideas are there. These are my ideas. My ideas are, as they say, like whatever like you've read around, it's true. Like you cannot hide these things. Like, okay, his team doesn't stay back and like for the whole 90 minutes, like they press like kind of mid and low mid pressing, but he wants his winger to go quick. He plays long balls. He wants intensity. He wants warriors, as I said. Like if he could have 11 Masura, he would play 11 Masura. Now, if you see the Olympiacos players and then compare it to this, then you see that's not the thing, because Valverde, the different with Valverde was that Valverde had a much uh, better squad than what Mendilibar has now. When he went to Seville, he said, "Yeah, as I said, when I have good players, I can do better things." He proved that kind of, but no one expected Sevilla to advance so much and like even win the Europa League. In Spain, he did well. Like they avoided the relegation, but at the end of the day, they're Sevilla, and this shouldn't be a problem. So I think the main difference here is that Valverde evolves. Valverde adds new thing to his game, like he evolve at every team. he's been Mendilibar has his own mentality about football, and he wants to play the game simple. And I don't think at the end of the day he's 60. I'll say it again. I don't think that he will. If
62.
62, if he hasn't involved, I don't think that he would try to involve. It's a risk. It's a risk, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing, though. Mendilibar is going to come. You mentioned how he likes fighters and all,
Mhm.
which makes me think Mendilibar is coming to a team where not only does he not have a single player of his own, he won't get to sign a single player of his own, especially if he leaves in June, which I'm on. You make me, which I understand he almost definitely will, based on what you told us at the beginning. So what can he do at a group at a team where he has none of his own players, or does he already have a player that I'm missing that I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure because Ibora's career is very long, but I don't think that he's played under Mendilibar. Kini, I don't think so either. But I'm not sure to be honest. But anyway, even if there are two players who are not starters at Olympiacos, and then you cannot say anything about this. What the thing now? The thing is, uh, as I told you, He's likable. He's very likable. Players like him. What's the difference now? The difference is that players like him and 90% of his squad, if not 95% of his squad, could speak Spanish in Spain. And everyone knew him. Everyone knew him, who he is and what he offers to the team. Uh, Now he's coming to a new environment. No one knows him. It could either go very good and people love him because he has this charisma. He has this charisma by being loud and by being he's being likable by making jokes. And that's the thing now. Like imagine if you don't speak the language, how do you make jokes? Like you don't tell the translator, haha, like tell Fortunis that this. It's not a joke anymore. So like that's what made him be very likable. His outspoken nature. Now at Olympiacos, he has to connect with the players. How can he connect with the players? I don't. I'm not sure about that. Generally, I would say at every team he's been, players loved him. They would go to war for him at least at the beginning. If he can manage to do that at Olympiacos, like the potential is bigger than we think. Like you mentioned, the Conference League not being a target, but I mean, Aston Villa lost to Chelsea at home. Like I'm not saying that it's not the same thing, but Chelsea, I'm not informed either. And then you never know what happens. No one expected Sevilla to win the Europa League, and okay, we can say that Sevilla has 7 Europa Leagues, blah blah blah, but the squad was not good. The team was not. The level was like the play against Manchester United. I think what can we compare here? The budgets that's different. So yes, he can punch above his height. He can do that, but the players have to buy into his mentality, and I don't know how. I cannot see how this connection is gonna happen between these players and this coach.
Wow, that's very interesting. Well, like I said, my co-host Aris Bouloubasis, he put together a stunning deep dive on Mendilibar. Anyone who hasn't watched it, please do help yourself. It's on YouTube. What he said was basically that we're going to move to formations now. Basically, I understand he likes the 4-2-3-1 formation, but it's all very pragmatic. There's nothing complicated about it. Ari said that his teams have averaged about 3 passes. What he likes to do is get the ball to the wingers on the sides, and then they're going to try and get the ball into the box either via a cross or low ball. Uh, he doesn't really like to play out the back. He likes his center backs to clear the ball when they have it. When he plays against better opposition, he likes to play more defensively. When he's playing against a better team, he likes to open up. So, formation-wise, what do you expect us to see from Mendilibar?
I think that first of all, I saw Ari's video and it's spot on. I can say, but from what I know, but I'm not a tactical mastermind either. Like we at the end of the day, we're journalists, we're not coaches. But from what I saw, like I saw what I've seen from at least like Eibar and like Sevilla last year. Again, we have to put everything into context. If we talk about formations, he said, like many coaches said, if not everyone, he said that this is just numbers: 4-2-3-1, 1-2-4-3. All this formation for him is just numbers. It's like the only thing is that how he wants his team to play, and it depends on the team. For at Eibar, he was playing 4-4-2 because he had like his wingers, he had his two strikers, and he had his double pivot. Now, like at Olympiacos, I'm not sure he can play 4-4-2. For example, I'm just saying, maybe he can, maybe he can. Like, but Fortune is out of the question if he plays 4-4-2. Then at Sevilla, he played 4-2-3-1. Again, that's if the season wasn't that weird, if Olympiacos season wasn't that weird, I would say that he's the perfect coach to take you in Europe. The
What do
perfect
you mean take you in Europe? You mean just the ongoing European campaign?
like play like Europe is where Olympiacos play as an underdog. To be fair, you know what I mean, and he knows how to play as an underdog. That's what he has done. He's never played as a favorite. And then that would be a problem because when, like, I guess that in Greece, for example, if he plays against Panathinaikos and PAOK at the moment who are like in form and they are, to be fair, they are better teams than Olympiacos team-wise. Olympiacos are underdogs. But then if you play against a team that play like a back five and they are all behind the ball and defending 90 minutes, I don't think he's ever experienced that. I don't think that there has been, maybe it's Sevilla, but I'm not sure because Sevilla had their problems. So when your team has problems, the others seize the opportunity and they want to attack you, you know? So he's never he's never coached a team where the opponent would stay back and defend the whole time. So now that's what I'm saying. He's gonna do a 4-2-3-1. If you ask me, that's what he inherited at Sevilla, and that's what he kept doing. But honestly, I cannot see how Fortunis could fit into his system. Like he wants people to chase the ball. He wants people to run and defend throughout the game. If he can make him do that, cool. But if not, maybe there would be a 4-4-2. 4-4-2 in terms of let's say Masuras is the second striker. You know what I mean? Like, and LKB coming, taking down the ball, like going around and passing the ball, and then two wingers. But then again, which wingers? I would ask. So I'm not sure what's his plan. Like, it's very interesting, honestly.
Well, it's very interesting because you said that he likes to be the underdog, and well, we did see that working out for Sevilla last season as they eliminated Manchester United from the quarterfinals. And let me tell you, Man United last season were nothing like the shambolic United we see right now. They won the League Cup. They almost won the FA Cup. They finished third, if I remember correctly. Yes, they finished third. They eliminated Juventus from the semifinals. They beat Jose Mourinho's Roma at the final as well. And even against Man City, which they lost, granted, I was at Karaiskaki, and I have to say I was very impressed by Sevilla. They were very composed. They were very focused. They were so dangerous on the counterattack. And if you ask me, I think City were lucky. I mean, obviously, they didn't have Kevin De Bruyne because he was injured. And, well, Erling Haaland was nowhere to be seen. Such a great job defensively to erase arguably the best striker in the whole wide world. They were very good there, and they did not play like underdogs. Let me tell you, like I said, City, they were lucky to escape to win this one, if you ask me. Plus, I mean, you know, when it comes to the penalty shootouts, you know, it was only Nemanja Gudel who missed that spot kick. So I guess what I'm trying to ask you here is, how How come he managed? I mean, he is a fixer. He is a fixer because at Eibar as well, he made it to the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey, which was the record. He finished ninth, which is still the record when it comes to La Liga finish. So how come it worked at Sevilla so amazingly well last season? I mean, he went there, took over Jorge Sampaoli, who's a great manager in his own right, and he managed to, well, he finished outside the top four at Sevilla, but he won a record seventh Europa League title. How did that work? How did it work so amazingly well at Sevilla?
I guess first of all, he inspired the players, and second, Sampaoli is a great manager indeed, but Sevilla had been a problematic team and problematic club for a while, and what Sevilla have in common with Olympiacos is the fan base because the Sunset Pijuan is one of the best atmospheres in Spain. So like if you get the players invested and then you get the fans invested, then you can achieve everything. Especially Sevilla has proved that they can achieve everything. They haven't done some tactical masterpiece winning all these Europa League trophies. They did it because the players were because they were signed good players, of course. Dani Alves, Sergio Ramos, everyone. Um, and second, because they have this boost that they are getting from the fans. So that's what he did. He got the players invested. Some of the players he had coached before. He got the fans to love him and to ask for him to stay at the end of the season, although it wasn't sure, they weren't sure at the club if they would keep him or not, but even if he won the Europa League, and that was his secret mainly. And then he I guess that after so many issues with coaches, then like came a guy who was normal, a guy who would speak to the players, who would joke with the players, who would hug the players, who would make fun and do cool stuff and ask for simple football. And he got them invested, and that's how he won. I don't think that there was something, there was a tactical masterpiece behind that. You know what I mean? Because he says that too. He's like, I'm not a mastermind. I don't know. I'm not Pep Guardiola. And I don't want to be. I want my team to play simple.
Well, I did ask you on. We had a conversation before you got on the show. I asked you because we saw that with Carlos Carvalhal as well. The guy had been everywhere before joining Olympiacos. He had kind of quite a Claudio Ranieri type of journeyman career. Then we had Pascal Janssen, who had only been at AZ Alkmaar. And I asked you, how come Mendilibar has left so many jobs? Do you care to tell us here on the show what the answer is?
Um, First of all, it's different. Like Mendilibar and Carvalhal are very different. Like
Oh, totally, totally. Yeah,
there
agreed.
is
Agreed on
one
that.
coach with a plan, with his own mentality, football mentality. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but he has like, and then there's Carvalhal, something different. I don't want to go into this. So, like, to be fair, I don't remember what I replied, but what I know is that he is just a normal coach. He's not something bigger than he is. Like that's who he is. He's not a coach who would do something amazing, and that's why he got fired by teams like Real Valladolid, like Alaves, unfortunately, like Eibar after doing so well too, and by Sevilla right now, like 5 months ago. So I don't think that he was able to do like a step up, like a step forward. What did they reply? I'm curious now. because
Because you told me, loosely, it's not a direct quote.
uh-huh.
2010 was a long time ago, you said.
Okay, yes, it was, like that's how it is with this kind of coaches. But still, he's not. I'm telling you, he's not a journeyman. This like Olympiacos fans can be calm. He's not a journeyman. He has coached many teams, but he has like a 3 decade career, and
Hmm.
some of them worked out, some of them didn't work out. But like over the last since 2010, he has coached 4 teams,
Hmm.
if I'm not wrong.
Since
Eibar,
2010, he has coached more than four teams. It's Osasuna, Levante, Eibar, Alaves, Sevilla, and now Olympiacos.
okay, since Eibar, I wanted to say was 14, 2014. Yeah, he has coached like 34 teams, including Olympiacos, I guess. So yeah,
Hmm.
I don't think that this is the main problem here. For me, the main problem is that since Ernesto Valverde, I think that Olympiacos goes towards one direction, and that direction is like playing, trying. Trying to play nice football, building from the back, and having quality players up front. And Mendilibar has nothing to do with this plan. Or maybe he never got the chance, but for some reason, I guess he never got the chance. I don't know. I'm just thinking loudly.
Well, the thing is, you said something that I find it quite concerning. You said you're not sure what kind of role Kostas Fortounis is going to have under Mendilibar. And to be honest, like we saw it tonight, I mean, we're doing this interview on, that's 8 past 11 p.m. CET. We saw that on the 11th of February, that is, the 10th of February. Sorry, I'm on the 11th. You're not there yet. Well, we saw Kostas Fortounis and Daniel Podence returning at Olympiacos starting lineup, and Olympiacos looked a completely different side because Carlos Carvalhal would not use those two in the starting lineup, and suddenly Olympiacos threw 4 goals past off. Obviously, that's not no Real Madrid, but still, I mean, finally Olympiacos showed something on the pitch. They showed dominance on the pitch, something we haven't seen since Diego Martinez, actually, funnily enough. So I guess my question here is, are there any players you can see flourishing under Mendilibar? You did mention Yoros Masuras. Are there any other players you can see doing really, really well under him?
To be fair, I haven't thought about it. Like, don't get me wrong. Fortunis could have a role, and could be like the captain. Could still be that in the 4-2-3-1, the player behind the striker. He could. What I'm saying is that the Mendilibar's expectations in terms of pressing and in terms of being focused throughout. Um, the game, and like as Ali said in the video, and as you know and as everyone knows, we're talking about the guy who prefers his team to play long balls, direct football. I don't know how Fortunis could do that in this system. The only thing I can imagine would be turning into a Pirlo and playing like in a double pivot behind the three. That's the only thing I could imagine. But again, I'm not a coach. The coach would will tell us. So as for the players, that's a good question actually, because well, I don't not gonna name players, but whoever is hustling at Olympiacos is gonna she could flourish against under Mendilibar. Like I said, Basuras because that's the first name that comes into my head, but like I'm not sure. Like again, Rodinei, for example, amazing player, great player, but can he improve defensively? Can Mendilibar make these players improve defensively? We've never seen that. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like it has never happened before. Even at Sevilla, there were players like Jesus Navas, who is like a legend and he has done everything. And then he's like, and it's Acuna who won the the World Cup. Like I mean, the two fullbacks. So he didn't get like players who, let's be honest, like who are not great defenders like Ortega or Rodinei to turn them into like the best defenders ever. Can he do that? Maybe, I don't know. He has to show us if he can do that. But uh, but whoever, as I said before, whoever hustles and whoever like just runs and defends and shows intensity, maybe they would be his favorite players.
What do you make of Diego Martinez dismissal? I think it was very unfair. I think when you start a new era at your club, you are bound to have Lamia moments. You are bound to have Maccabi moments. You are bound to have Freiburg moments. You're bound to have PAOK moments. Because Olympiacos started really well under Diego Martinez. Some really dominant victories. Huge win over West Ham. I don't care what people say about how David Moyes started the team. Like Premier League teams are head and shoulders over every single Greek club in the world. Two really bad defeats. Obviously, Freiburg was a disgrace. PAOK was also terrible as well. But let's remember, Pedro Martins had this horrible defeat against Lamia, and he almost left. That was until Christian Carebe and Savas Theodoridis said, he's not leaving. Christian Carebe, I think, also said, if he leaves, I leave as well. You're bound to have those moments. Like you got Mendilibar coming in. I mean, personally, as Costas Llanos, I don't know what you think, Pan. I mean, pretty much you also have your own doubts. I don't expect him to suddenly turn us into, Atletico Madrid or Sevilla, or anything like that. So I think it was a horrible decision getting rid of Diego Martinez. Carlos Carvalhal was a huge downgrade compared to him. So what do you make of Martinez's dismissal?
I don't understand it. I don't believe that it was sporting issue. I don't know what to believe. To be honest, now I'm talking as an Olympiacos fan. I'm not looking as a journalist or something. I'm just what I see, and what I saw was a team having a plan, a club finally having a plan with a sporting director who, okay, had his problems and he had to leave, uh, and a team that was trying to play something. But what happens now? Why Martins was successful and Martinez was not successful? Because there is a big difference between the Portuguese coaching mentality and the Spanish coaching mentality. Because the Spanish coaching mentality, Spanish coach, if you tell them, come here, and which I guess is what Olympiacos board say to everyone, like this team needs to play good football, needs to attack, needs to win games, and needs to do that, as I said again, by playing good football. Now, Martinez tried to do literally that, but it's not easy to do that when you're the first year and when you have like signed so many new players, and when like your opponents, to be fair, like then we didn't know, but like PAOK, you've seen now how good is PAOK, and the way he played, a Portuguese coach would never play the way he played against PAOK, the way he played against all the team. And the reason why Olympiacos is losing, because there were many like defensive frailties, many gaps that no one could fill, etc., etc. So I cannot believe that there was a problem sporting wise. Like I don't know what to say, because I don't think that Martinez is an amazing coach. Like I have a good opinion about him, but I thought, and I still think that he's an ambitious coach, and a guy who like wants has like a plan and wants to build on this plan and wants like to grow. like Martins, but in a different way because they are different kind of coaches. Uh, so for me, it was like a wrong decision. I cannot see how this would be mid-season. Like I'm against any mid-season dismissal anyway, especially if you have a coach who has done pre-season, especially if you're starting a new project. That it's not like I don't know. It's not like Olympiacos has won 7 in a row, and then for some reason the coach leaves, and then you get a new coach, and that coach needs to just build on that team and continue like this. It was like a complete new team, a new project, and then you cannot mid-season, not even mid-season, but like in 3 months, dismiss everyone, kick out everyone, and bring Carvalho. And that's the thing at the end of the day. Like who, like remember from when they fired Martinez until like 2 days ago that we appointed Mendilibar. Just like think about the names of the coaches that have been heard, the rumors. Let's say rumors, but like rumors like feasible rumors. Like Marcelino was never a feasible rumor, for example. Let's say like feasible rumors. These coaches have nothing to do between them. Like Carvalhal, Mendilibar, and the Dutch guy. I still don't remember his
Janssen,
name.
Pascal Janssen.
Janssen. I'm sorry. And Janssen are three different kind of coaches and people. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So what's the project? What are you trying to do here? What's what's your objective? What are you trying to do? Like what are you trying to build? We saw in the summer there was a clear project. Spanish coach, Spanish sporting director, and we built on this. But now I cannot see any plan. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Well, I was about to ask you if the Spanish style fits Olympiacos, but I think you pretty much just answered this because I'll be honest with you. Like when I think about how Olympiacos found themselves in this situation, I feel like just like in life, like things come full circle. A circle is completed, and I feel like instead of what Olympiacos are doing right now, instead of drawing a new circle, they're trying to continue a circle that's already been drawn right now, which is what the Darko Kovacevic appointment sounds to me like. Oh, yeah, we're bringing back the old guys. Yeah, we're bringing back Cristian Carebe. It's going to be just like the good old days. But football has moved on. I said on the show the other day, do we have a head of recruitment? No, we don't. Do we have a set piece coach? No, we don't. Yeah, it sounds fancy, but it really isn't these days because football keeps growing, it keeps modernizing, it keeps changing right now. And I feel like Olympiacos, just like it looked like they're turning into a European team, now they're starting to look more like a Greek team right now. And like, we're talking about Mendilibar coming in and like based on do correct me, but like based on what you said, it does sound like a quick fix. He's coming in to save what? Like Olympiacos are not going to finish fifth. I mean, they're not that bad because Aris also don't have momentum. They just dropped points as well just now against Yanina, if I'm not mistaken. I doubt Panathinaikos/PAOK won't win the Greek Cup. I doubt that's going to happen. I really, really doubt that. I cannot see Olympiacos finishing in any position better than fourth. I mean, I'm sorry, it just doesn't look like it, and it doesn't sound like you're very confident. Mendilibar can turn Olympiacos into the kind of team that can beat PAOK or Panathinaikos and finish and get a better finish this season. Am I correct?
Pep Guardiola cannot do that.
Jurgen Klopp cannot do it. I said that on the show last week.
Jurgen Klopp cannot do that. Like, how can you do that? It's how many games left in the league, and then plus the playoffs.
I think about four or five normal, and then you're going to face like what was it? 5 other teams in the playoffs, so that's 10 more games right there.
You need a magician. You don't need a coach to do that. Like other teams play football too, and they have proved other teams that they are doing. Actually, they are competing for the league. Like Olympiacos has not done that. And like let's be honest. You know what I mean. And Mendilibar is not a magician. I'm quite sure, like 99% sure, that if Olympiacos wasn't in the Conference League, and they wouldn't get Mendilibar, and Mendilibar wouldn't even come. Why would he come? You know what? And I honestly think that we could laugh and we could say like, how can we even if we cannot beat Lamia? How can we go through to the next round in the Conference League and beat teams like Aston Villa? But I'm telling you, like no one is talking about this, but like the final is in Greece, and Mendilibar came for the Conference League. I'm convinced about this. I cannot see why Mendilibar would come would leave Spain at 62. Like I'm saying again, after having not managed a single team, two teams outside the Basque Country, no team outside Spain, to come all the way to Greece for 4 months. I don't think he cares about winning the Greek league, and he knows that like Olympiacos were like 9 points above behind PAOK. He has nothing to get from this. The only thing he has to get from this is the Conference League, and that's why he's here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For my last question before we wrap this whole thing up, well, I mean, now I forgot my question. Sorry, it is late here, but I mean, in general, like we said, just this whole thing is a quick fix, as it sounds right now. You said it yourself. He's here for the Conference League right now. I mean, watching this from afar and watching clubs evolving, the game changing. How do you think Olympiacos need to change going forward? What kind of mentality do they need to adopt?
It's very late there, and I will need at least 2 hours to talk about this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do a summary though. Olympiacos needs a project. That's what Olympiacos need. That's what every team needs. They need a project. PAOK has a project. Panathinaikos has a project. Now they kind of ruined it, but I don't know what's going to happen. But they had a project. AEK have a project. That's why PAOK, AEK, and Panathinaikos are above Olympiacos. It's not because of the referees. It's because they have a project, mainly. Now, you said it by yourself. When Olympiacos became a European team, they were a team that like if COVID hadn't happened, they would progress a lot, I guess. And I think in the Europa League, and after that, the demise was big. Like no one expected that, but it happens. Like we said, circle. That's what happens with a cycle. You have to evolve. That you cannot stay and look back and say, how good it was under Valverde, under Martins, under Bajevic, under I don't know with the Ligaris or whoever. So what Olympiacos need is a project. I don't think that Mendilibar is a viable and a project that goes to with the mentality of Olympiacos. Maybe Mendilibar will be a project for Arismon to play nice football too. I don't know. I cannot imagine a team. I cannot. I cannot imagine a team right now, but you know what I mean. This kind of mid-table team that they like staying back, hitting on the break, and playing this kind of football. But I cannot see Olympiacos doing that in Greece at least, and in Greece is very important. In Europe, that's how they play, and that's why the Portuguese coaches have been kind of successful the last few years, Jardim and Martins and Marco Silva, because they don't do the Spanish style. To do the Spanish style, you have to be patient. You have to have a plan. You have to have a project, and then But Olympiacos cannot have a project. Olympiacos have to compete for the league, and that's how it is. So it's not for me. It's not my job to tell the board what to do. They can. I think that's their job. I'm doing my job. They can do their job. I'm not gonna even try to find a solution here. What I say is very general, but being general is like so true. I guess like having a project is what takes you forward.
Couldn't agree more, man. So, thank you very much for joining us. How can the fans, where can the fans find you? Where can they find your amazing work?
Thank you very much. Like you can find me on Twitter. It's if I'm not mistaken, Panos88K. Um, well, you can also find like if you follow me on Twitter, then you can see my work I'm doing. Like nowadays, I'm doing basketball a lot. I'm focusing there. I'm working for EuroLeague, so like you can find articles of mine on the EuroLeague website too. I'm very bad at promoting myself, so I don't want to continue this. Thank you very much, though.
No problem. I mean, thank you very much. That was some really, really, really great insight here. I mean, let's see what happens. I agree with a lot of the things you say. Guys, if you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe and join us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Gate7 International. We would love to have you on board. And guys, do stay in touch. We are planning some amazing projects moving forward. Pano, again, thank you very much for joining us. Any
No,
any last
thank
words?
you. No,
Any
thank
final
you.
words?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. Like, keep up the good work. You're doing a very good job, guys. Well done.
Thank you very much, man. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us. We're going to see you real soon.